Should you invest in crypto launchpads? And can you still make 100x's in an IDO? To find out the answer, watch this video till the end. Hello gamers, Cryptokoosha here. Today, I was actually going to make another news video since I had been away for a while due to the recent wallet hack. Trust me, it wasn't a fun experience. But as I was reading different websites, I saw an announcement of a token launch that I hadn't heard about it anywhere, but apparently it raised on a bunch of different launchpads. Therefore, I decided to share my opinion on the state of launchpads today. But before I start, please note, now I'm not invested in any of them. Now let's launch into it. What are launchpads? To put it simply, they are a blockchain-based crowdfunding platform, and do not ever use the word decentralized for them. These projects are the most centralized businesses in crypto. Full stop. But are they bad? Short answer, no. At least this wasn't the case back in 2021. Personally, I participated in many of them, and these are some of the ones that I joined, but there are many more out there. I'm glad I stopped. Well, actually, the bear market stopped me. But during the bull run, launchpads were a no-brainer. If you got whitelisted, you were almost guaranteed a return, sometimes very sizable. I had even seen a 600x return. And you can tell these were very profitable since many launchpad projects started popping up. I even remember any project that couldn't do what it was supposed to do or launch its product in time added the launchpad feature to its services to keep the lights on and the community happy. But things took a turn. You might blame it on the bear market, but personally, I think the amount of crap projects and launch of tokens with no utility led to the disappointment of investors. Or should I say, their enlightenment. I'm not necessarily talking about the launchpad participants. The public buyers became aware. The people who would have bought the tokens after TGE because they didn't get a chance to buy it from the launchpads. And why should they? Many of the tokens fell below the ideal price anyways. And since many people fled the space after the crash, there is just not much demand or hype to pump the token. Another reason I can think of is that many good projects are getting funded by VCs and angel investors, and they rarely come to launchpad even as a marketing stunt. So the projects are becoming even crappier on the launchpad. And since launchpads need to generate revenue or are pressured by the token holders, they will settle for any quality project. At this point, I just don't want to know about the projects they reject. They do reject some, right? And finally, the way launchpads operate can dishearten investors. I know this is a very subjective matter, but from what I have seen in these years, they are not the most straightforward project. You might have noticed many of them now have changed their tokens just to have a fresh start and hide their previous token dump. And some are notorious for having experienced a hack. Wink wink. I'm actually going to name this particular case. DAO Maker had a hack and promised to repay the victims of the hack. But after a year, just before fulfilling on their promise, they made a proposal for the token holders to vote on whether the team should dump the DAO tokens to repay the victims, or should they just give the victims points towards the tier level. Obviously, the new token holders didn't want the token to drop in price, so they voted no. And if I remember correctly, the team's treasury had a good chunk of the no votes too. Governance in a nutshell. Then there are some that would block you or kick you out of the groups if you ask questions about the projects they're launching. And some are just straight up shady, like Egg Terminal. And recently, I have seen some launchpads proposing mystery launches, meaning you pay without knowing what project you're investing in. Obviously, this is because they know if they name the project, no one would invest in. Smart or evil. Before I wrap the video, let me show you just how indifferent the launchpads have become to what they are launching. RG game is launched by these platforms at a valuation of $42 million. Already a very high valuation, given the state of crypto games in my opinion. And looking at the first page of their white paper, you can see clear red flags. I mean, who introduces the project like this? And fun fact, as pioneers of decentralization, they have only launched on a centralized exchange. Classy. And to top it all, RG has had a game released in 2020 on Steam with only one player. They couldn't even get their family to play it. Just goes to show you how much due diligence is done. But to be fair, I haven't looked at the game and I don't know how good or bad it is. But I'm sure it's not gonna revolutionize gaming, or at least it's not worth $42 million. I'm just glad most launchpads have a refund option now. It's very much needed given the circumstance. To wrap this video, looking at the returns of the IDOs in this year, you can tell they are not very juicy. I mean, you can find a handful that you can make a return on, but is it worth it? Also note, when you read the all-time high prices, it means the few seconds it was at that price. So not all investors could sell for that price. And of course, you also have the vestings, meaning not all of your tokens are available for you to sell at that price either. But of course, with a raging bull market and an influx of new investors, everything can flip positive overnight. You just have to find the good teams and be ready. And personally, I don't think launchpads are bad, and I very much like players to be the investors of games. However, now gamers are for VCs to dump on. Now let me know what you think about launchpads. How has your experience been with them? And what are some things you like about them? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like the content. And one more thing, the most stupid form of launchpads are the ones claiming to be native to a chain. Bye.